Next is to lift the cabinet on the stand. So typically for installation, we use a lift jack like this to bring the cabinet from one room to another and then to lift to the stand. For moving the cabinets between rooms, I would typically recommend using a pallet truck that looks like this. Then place this pallet truck underneath the cabinet, one on each side, so one side here and the other side in here. Please make sure that this padding goes to the cabinet perimeter because the perimeter is load bearing, but the drain pan in the center does not necessarily bear the load. If this is a lab culture cabinet, then the drain pan is thin, so it's unsafe to lift on the drain pan. So please lift just on the perimeter of this cabinet. When lifting the cabinet with a forklift or jack, please make sure lift from the front. So showing it from the forward, make sure you insert the jack from the front and the fork must go all the way to the back. If the fork only goes halfway to the center of drain pan, then the drain pan will be bent and the cabinet will be damaged because on some cabinets like lab culture model, again the drain pan is not load bearing. Please do not use this lift jack from the side of the cabinet, for example from here, because if you lift it from here, then as you pull this jack, you will also pull this side rest panel and that will become bent. So always lift from the front to the back. Next step is we will push this cabinet towards the stand. Make sure it aligns. And then we align it with the stand. Again, for lab culture, the side rest panel is not load bearing. This is just a side rest panel. The side that's bearing the weight is this side. So we will lift the cabinet now until the height of this stand. Yeah, please lift gently. Okay, see that the bottom of the cabinet it's lined, so just a bit more. Just a bit more. One more. Yes. Okay. Now we'll push the cabinet in towards the stand. Okay, and then until the holes here align with the holes from the support stand.
When lifting the cabinet with a jack, be sure to insert the jack perpendicular to the long side of the cabinet, rather than coming in through the side here. You also need to make sure that the jack goes fully through the length of the cabinet so that it shows up on the other side. The reason for this is that you don't want the jack to favor the center of the drain pan. That's a thinner sheet metal, and if you're lifting it up there, it's going to bend the drain pan. As you can see down here now, the way that the jack is positioned, the end of the jack is not shown on the other side of the cabinet. So if we were to lift it right now, the drain pan would be damaged and become bent. If we push the jack further through, you want to get to a point where the jack can be seen on the other side of the cabinet. So right there, the jack is shown on the other side. So if you were to lift now, the frame of the cabinet would be favored rather than the drain pan. And that is more of a load-bearing component, so that's where we want to lift the cabinet.
And then we insert the bolt, the long bolt, first with a flat washer, then the spring washer. Look where is the nutsert underneath the cabinet. In this case, it's here and here. So Make sure the back is aligned here. So we will insert the bolt here. And then this will go into the bottom of a cabinet. And then here we'll insert the bolt here until this goes to the bottom of the cabinet. So we will lower the cabinet a bit. Just a bit more. Yeah, okay, that's good. And then let's insert the bolt here. Make sure you insert the bolt straight forward, because if the bolt is angled, then the thread will get caught and the bolt will jam. And just do hand tightening for now. Do not use tools. And then the second bolt. Again, flat washer and spring washer. Insert the bolt here to meet with the nutsert here. Now if the gap is too high, then we will lower the cabinet a bit. So just lower it just a bit. Okay, that's good. And then we insert the bolt again. Please insert this perpendicular to the bottom of the cabinet so that the thread will engage perfectly fine. Okay, I'm not going to do full tightening now because the cabinet is an angle. We'll do the other side first before we do full tightening. If it's too high, then we raise the cabinet a bit so that we can see where is the nutsert. Then, okay, I'll insert this to the nutsert, hand tight only. And the second one. Okay, hand tight only. And then after that, we will lower the cabinet down so it fully rests upon the stand. Then we can move the jack away from the cabinet. Then we tighten up the bolts here. Hand tight only. Make sure it goes all the way by hand. And after you cannot tighten up by hand anymore, then you use the wrench. Please do not over tighten this bolt, because if you do, then it will damage the nutsert underneath. Then if you have to remove it, the nutsert will become loose. So just decently tight, but not too tight. Okay, that's good enough. And then we do it on the other side. Then we use the tool. Again, please do not over tighten this bolt to prevent damage to the nutsert. Okay, when you feel decent resistance, then that's enough. And finally, last bolt, hand tighten first, and then use the wrench. If you insert the bolt straight, you will not find much difficulty turning it. But if you feel too much resistance, please loosen it up and then reinsert the bolt to make sure the thread will not get jammed. Okay, and after we tighten the last bolt, then that's it. The cabinet is fully assembled on the stand and the cabinet is ready for use. Thank you.